Welcome to another episode of Dad Can We Talk? I am your host, Anthony Ray, and this is episode 95. After this, guess what? We only gonna have 5 more to go before we at episode 100. And man, I am so excited to be this close, man. I was talking with a guy at work today, and I was telling him, how a lot of people that do podcasts, especially, not people who aren't celebrities and stuff, it's easy to get discouraged in this stuff, man, because you ain't getting the notoriety, you're not really making money like that, if anything, the support at times isn't there, so it can be very discouraging. And when you can be consistent and you get something to like an episode 100 and you've been doing this for over 2 years now, it's something that I gotta even pat myself on the back about, because at times, man, I know I wanted to give up, and with all the life challenges and struggles of life, it's hard to continue to push forward, so I'm just grateful, to continue to be doing this and continue to be pushing forward this narrative, to change the narrative of fatherhood, especially Black fatherhood, so that's what we're about. And we gonna continue that same thing on today. For my listeners out there, man, all the supporters, if y'all can, the biggest way you can help me out is go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel at Dad Can We Talk. That's just something that if you want to help me, please do that. If you see this on YouTube right now, all you got to do is hit that button, right? It's right there. All you got to do is hit subscribe, and you've helped me out. You supported me. That's huge. That would go a long way for me. But you can also find this streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, every streaming service out there, man. And then you can, if you want to find it the easy way, go to dadcanwetalk.com. It's that simple. You will find all the podcasts, the audio podcast streaming on there, and the YouTube channel is connected to the website. And you can also donate on the website. Man, I'm excited. I had someone donate to me. I got these new wireless earbud microphones. I haven't been able to use them yet, but I'll be using them in a couple of weeks when I have my first in-person interview since I've had those. So I've been waiting to get those, man. So I'm thankful for everyone that does support me, man. Everything helps. Shout out to my boy Andre. He was the person that donated and helped me get my camera that I use. Andre, real deal, helped me out big time, man. And it was huge to know that one of my classmates just wanted to support me like that. So appreciate everyone out there that does support me. And just know it does not go without being noticed. And yeah, so y'all do all that, help your boy out. But today, listen, y'all, I'm just excited, man. If y'all can't tell by the look on my face, I'm an excited person today because I'm sitting with my dog today. I met this man probably when I was like in 11th grade, maybe 10th grade at Gainesville High School. And let me tell y'all, man, this man was like my favorite rapper, for real. Some people call him, you might know him by Fiyaman Jaronimo.
Yes, sir.
And man, listen, when I tell y'all this man used to be spitting, when I graduated high school and I was at Santa Fe College, man, listen, everybody that hung around me knew about Fiyaman Jaronimo, because I used to tell people, listen, man, I know y'all like Wayne and all that, but let me let you hear my dog real quick. I'm gonna introduce y'all to the Semi Squad. My boy Fiyaman, my boy Mike Veezy, what up with you? Sincere, hey, them boys are really spitting for real. Shout out to my boy Chris Beatty, my dog 3Dizzle, man. Hey, and man, listen, these dudes were really spitting, and it was just, I used to just be like, dang, you know, these boys from they right here in my city. Like I see these dudes and they really ripping like real deal lyrics. And man, so it was only right that I got my brother on here, man, because for one, I ain't talked with my dog in a long time. And it's just only right. You know, I had a few people even request this man for the podcast, so I had to get him. So y'all listen, I just want y'all to the Dad Can We Talk community to welcome to the show my dog, Fiyaman Jaronimo.
Yes, sir.
What's good?
Blessed to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
That's real humbling to hear, man. And like really, like, you know, ever since like young, like I know like I had like a gift, and
Yeah.
it was just crazy that everybody else around me had that same gift, and we were all doing it at the same time. And it's just a, you know, something I'll never forget. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate that support, man. I really do. That means a lot. It's very humbling.
Real
Without
talk. Real talk. Real talk, man. All my dogs from Arcadia, my dogs from Belglade, my dogs from Fort Lauderdale. All the boys used to be like, "Ooh, hey, bro, put on that one dude that you be playing." Real talk.
Oh man,
that's
that's
real.
special.
But man, we gonna start it out how we always started out, man. First question that I like to ask, I like to take it back real quick. I want you to talk about what your relationship was like with your dad.
Well, my father is to this day. Well, he passed when I was 20 years old, but to
Okay.
this day, he's I have him in my ear. I say things, I catch myself saying things that he used to say to me, and
Mm.
I model myself of how my father was. And then like a lot of times I see like people in like relationships and things of that nature, and I noticed that I'm like, well, why is it like that? Or why are they doing that? Like, don't they know that's destructive? But see, I had to realize that I was raised with a father who was on that. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he liked to have fun, but he was kind of no nonsense a little bit, you know. He was all about teaching. He's educator, like, so, you know, and also a pastor. So
Yeah.
so I always grew up with like, you know, an understanding of what a man is supposed to be, and like, you know, what a man is to his family.
Yeah.
Some of the things that he used to teach, very, like, we was very big on was critical thinking,
Mm.
responsibility, and also being able to provide for your family. And
Yeah.
so I carry those things with me today. Like even to this day, it's like really huge for me.
That's real. That's real, man. Hey, you know, rest in peace to Pops, for real, for real.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know, and I love to hear that, you know, from especially from our side, you know, because you always hear the stories of the dad, the people that, you know, didn't have their dads. And I just love to hear, you know, that, you know, your dad was a role model to you, man. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
it's always a
1000%.
good thing to hear.
Oh,
Always a good thing,
1000%.
man.
Yeah.
So with that relationship that you had with him and everything that he taught you, how has that translated over? I know, and you're like you brand new in this thing right now.
Mhm.
How are you carrying over that what he taught you over into your own relationship with your own child?
Well, it's funny you say that because of course my daughter was just born in last August, and that's my first daughter, but my son, he's about to be 12 in November.
Okay.
Um, right. So a lot of what he taught me, I try to make better. Like for
Yeah.
instance, he wouldn't whoop us as often because he got beat so bad. But
Mm.
see, and now I carry that to where it's like I'm finding like I don't have to spank my child like that to discipline. And see,
Mm.
one thing that he always taught me was discipline isn't a spanking. Discipline isn't the punishment. Okay, that's punishment. Discipline is the corrective action afterward. So
Mm.
what are we gonna do to change this the way we're doing this? What are we gonna do to correct it? And you gotta have it, like, you know what I'm saying, and come up with a solution. And so the next time he wants you to see you implement that. If
Mm.
not, you're going back to corrective action, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, that's something that I carry over. And it's really big for me. Um Once I got my first marriage, once I actually got divorced, and when I did, I was kind of at a loss because I didn't know, you know, I didn't know how to, you know, I wasn't trained for that growing up, like, you know what I mean. And so but still other things, like you said, critical thinking, some other things that were there, they still held true, where it's like, communication, provide, be there, like, it's just and so I'm really grateful to have the father that I did have. But we have a really strong sense of family. We talk, my brothers and sister and I, we talk to each other every day, and that comes from what my mother and father taught us and how they taught us to be family and how to move. And so I'm not gonna lie, you said brand new to this, man. I had my daughter and I'm looking at her like, what am I gonna do? And so I know I don't want to be as tough on her. Well, I wasn't really like tough, but like as tough on her as I am my son. And I know
Yeah.
there's got to be a different way to go about it, And so I'm just I still think back to things that he taught me, or look like, or how he did my sister and things like that. And I just want to take that and make it a little better. And then that way it can, what I'm saying, and be able to keep growing that way. Yeah, father's huge in my life, man. Like I said, even to the day, he ended up actually passing away when I was in Iraq. And so
Wow.
so that was tough. That was real tough. And so shortly after, I ended up having a son. And so that meant a lot to me. And I was just like I said, I just hear things that he would say to me, and I'll be looking at him and I'll say the same thing, and I'll be like, doggone, I sound like my dad. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So so like I said, it kind of shook me after the divorce, like, oh man, how I'm gonna be there. Then you realize that a lot of it has to do with that relationship with the mother. Once you once you come to an agreement and reconcile and everything else like that, raising a child should be it becomes a little bit easier, especially when you're not there every day, when you're used to being an everyday dad. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, that was kind of tough on me. And so and I'm actually taking that in my marriage now. And I just want to be able to not have to go through that, and be able to build and expand and make it better this go around, while at the same time, having my son and letting him know that he's not left out or anything else like that. Well, he don't think that no way, but he just tried to extort me for a PS5, so he don't think that no way. He know what it is. But yeah, so I definitely want to but I'm definitely thinking about all the things of how my dad did my sister, like growing up, how he raised her, things that he implemented, and I just want to take those things and do them and make it my own and make it better.
That's real. And that's some good stuff there, man. And you said something so important in that, something that I'm still trying to learn about discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I got into the habit of, like, I come home from work, kids might have this stuff all over the place, and I'm just like, just yelling all the time,
Right.
yelling.
Right.
And I think my wife said to me one day, she was like, I just feel like after you yell so much, they become numb to that.
Yeah.
And we have to find ways, like you said, to come up with the solutions with them on how we're gonna go forward. Because I'll beat it into the head,
Yeah.
into the ground.
Yeah.
You need to be doing this. You got to be, all these things.
Right.
And
Right.
I want to start more than anything trying to find those solutions on how to help them. So Friday, I'm always telling them why. This is why I'm telling you to do this. This is why I'm telling you to do this. But trying to just find those solutions with them.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's something that I've yet to master, and yeah, that's some good stuff there, man, for real.
So when I hear that, the first thing I think is, if you're saying it all the time, sometimes ask them, why do you think I'm doing this? And that way you can see where their head's at, and you can see what they're thinking. Because then, now that, like you said, find it with them. That's a big part of it. One thing that my dad used to always say, used to get on my nerves, my punishment is going to be equal and opposite to your reward. And until I got my own child, I didn't know what that meant. So it's like, you can't just yell and just, just yelling, and then their punishment isn't the equal and opposite of the reward. Like you so one of the things that I did was, and it sounds super like, kitty whatever, but I used to do like a reward system with like straws. If you did good, or if you did something that was commendable, you get a straw. After at the end of the day, if you get 5 straws, you get a snack. It's something you're gonna give them anyway, but that gives them a reward. So now when it's time to implement punishment, I could take away a straw, or however you dish out your punishment, or what I'm saying, or whatever, and then afterwards have that conversation. It's called a after action review. So after after it happens, hey, so this is what happened. Do you know why? And then saying, and get their answer. And right there, they may be thinking like, they'd be like, well, why did this happen? Because you're mad at me. That's not the answer. The answer is your action wasn't our standard. So you need to live back up to the standard. And then so that way you actually giving them, what I'm saying? And so now they know. So if they read it back to you, a lot of times when they see it now and you're not around, now they'll be able to, actually do it and implement it for themselves. You know what I mean? And
that's
so,
good stuff.
Yeah.
I like that, bro. That's something that I'm really, 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 I'm going to try to take that. We did it. We started doing something similar to that maybe about a year and a half ago. And we never did stick to it, because we were just all over the place. And I think that's something we got to get back. We got to get that system back.
All right. So you have like a reward system. It's it works, man. It works. And that was one of the things that that took spankings away from me. You know what I mean? Because I used to get destroyed, and I deserved it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, my dad would still say, I don't do this much, and it's only in extreme measures because it happened so much to me growing up. You see what I'm saying? And so when I see that now, like I was like, when my son started getting a little bit older, there's 2 things I don't want. I never let him see. You will never see me yelling or arguing with your mom, because I don't want you talking to her crazy. And then number 2 is, I don't want you to think it's the norm for somebody to be putting their hands on you. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I don't want you to think that that's normal, and especially coming from home. A lot of times that we have complexes, and a lot of times we have all this post-traumatic stress. It comes from home. Like, you know what I mean?
Boy,
yeah.
It's real.
And so
it's real.
And so being able to tackle that inside of the house is like you said, it's sometimes hard to stick to it, because it's easy just to go back to, hey, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's hard to stick to it, and that's discipline on your end as well.
Yeah, boy.
So
boy.
So and you're both always constantly learning. Do you remember being a kid and just like, okay, my mom or my dad knows everything, like, right? Now when you get older, you're like, how did you figure this out? And then you don't even know until then, like, you all are constantly learning. So you know what I mean? So don't beat yourself up so bad if you're not coming with the result that you desire. But at the same time, keep working at it and keep constantly learning and growing. It'll come to you. Trust me.
That's real. That's real. That's some good stuff there. Man, for my listeners out there, I always say it, that's game for the free 99. You either gonna catch it or you gonna let it just roll on. I would suggest that you catch that game.
Hey, if I hit you, I intend to miss. That's all I'm saying.
Real talk. Man, so what was it like, man, when you first heard those words, you were about to be a dad? Like, what was that first emotion, that feeling of hearing, I'm pregnant, or you're about to
I'll never forget it, man. I was still in the Army. I was living in Phoenix City, Alabama.
Yeah.
And right on the Chattahoochee River, man. And I come home from a long day, and we had my first wife and I, we had been trying, but here it is. It was like a year or so later. And so, it never happened. So, I was at this point, I just kind of, I ain't gonna say lost hope, but just kind of, man, let it die down a little bit. It's like, if it happens, it happens, whatever. And I was coming home. I came up the stairs, and I come over there, and she had a friend named Sasha. And Sasha was over there, and she's like smiling and beaming and all happy and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then And then so as soon as I walked in the room, she was standing there with the stick. You know what I'm saying? And it was yeah, and that was it. that was it. And I found out I was gonna be it. I was very, very excited, man. Because that's what I had wanted so bad. I wanted a child bad at that point, you know. I didn't even know what all came into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you babysit a few kids and you think you know how to raise a kid. Right?
For real though.
Right. So I was so happy, man. And I was right around the time I was getting out of the Army too. So I was very, very happy about that, man. It wasn't a oops. So I was yeah, man. I'm talking about we went to go do the you know how you do the sonogram, you find out the gender.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you would have thought somebody won a football game, man.
Yeah.
Once I found out it was a boy, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm walking up to random strangers. I'm gonna have a boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man. It was it was very, very, it was just a surreal moment. It's just like everything around me slowed down, and it's just like, man, it was everything I wanted, everything I hoped for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love that, man.
Yeah.
And see, I wanted a boy first. You know, I had already had my son's name picked out before we even was thinking about pregnancy or anything. I used to always tell my wife, I say, man, when we have a child, we're gonna have a son, and his name gonna be Uriah.
Yep.
You know, and I always loved that name and that person from the Bible. And
I was just gonna say that's what
he was
he
real.
must like that story. Yeah, I was gonna say he must like that story. Yeah.
Yeah, Uriah was a real one, man. Yeah. I'm just like, you know, like my son gonna be he gonna be a real soldier. You know, he gonna be, and it's so crazy. That's him right now. That's, you know, just that's him. He just what he's committed to, he's committed to. And you ain't gonna get him up off it too easy. And but once I found out we were gonna have a girl first, you know, I was like, dang. But I was like, you know, it's all good, you know. But once I had that girl, man, I think that was the best thing for me to have that girl, because it really did, like, I don't know, man, that girl did something to me. So I wanted to ask you, like, now, you know, you had your son, and now that you have this girl, like, what's that experience been like, you know, being a girl dad now?
It is 100% different.
Yeah, way different.
Oh man,
yeah,
like night and day. And so with my son, I was I took more of the stance of if he wants to do sports or anything like that, then I'm not going to push them on him but he can do.
Yeah,
man, my girl's here. I'm like, okay, I gotta have her in something that's going to build her confidence. I gotta have her. I like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm thinking about all this other stuff, and it's like, I just don't want her in pugilistic sports, no martial arts, no boxing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm thinking like that, bro. Is you know, and not only that, just how I approach things. I was just telling my boy this, how I approach things. I approach things a lot differently in my life. Situations to where 2 or 3 years ago I'd have wrecked that. Like now I'm thinking more clearly. Like for instance, like I put a like I start putting on a couple pounds. So now instead of just, you know, just being like this, or, you know, I'm gonna work out and stuff like that, I start signing up for like these classes, these little boxing classes and stuff like that, just the movements and stuff like that, to start like to lose the weight, because like, you know, I want to be that for my daughter, like, you know what I'm saying? Not that I love my son any less, no way, but like at the same time, it's like she makes me think a lot differently. I want to carry myself better. I want her to look at me and say, this is what I want in a man when she gets older. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, because a lot of people, somebody posed the questions to me, would you want your daughter to date you, a person like you? You know what I'm saying? And that's how I want to start, you know, and not how I want to start, but like how I'm carrying myself now. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to be the best dad, you know. I really do. Yeah. And then so we hear so many times, especially from our young ladies and women, about how their father pretty much scarred, you know, how they view and how they, you know, how they view themselves and how they view the world and what type of person they get and everything else like that. And I just want to be, you know, a father that is open, welcome, and loving. And not only that, I want to be able to teach, and you know what I'm saying. And I want her to go out and find something that looks similar, if not better, than me. You see
That's
what I'm
real.
saying? Yeah. Uh, but yeah, man, she lights my world up, man. She lights
Yeah.
my world up. Yeah. Kyla Michelle is
Yes,
it means victorious. So you know what I mean? And that's how I felt
Mm-hmm.
that I was, especially after having her. We got married. We've been married for about a year now, but it was a year in September actually.
Yeah.
But we got married in
Congrats.
thank you. We got married in September, and December we found out she was pregnant, and that was an uplifting time, man, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I get a shot now, you know. And
Yeah.
I prayed, man. I prayed for a daughter. I did.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, bro, they
Yeah.
those daughters, they change you, bro. You know, and I got two of them. So, you know, and then it's like I had girl, boy, girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my oldest and my youngest are both
Mm-hmm.
girls. And you know, so now I got my oldest, you know, she's like that.
Mm-hmm.
She's that one for me, bro. You know,
Right.
she's that one that, you know, me and her been through a lot together. A couple of years ago, my wife and my two youngest kids had to go up to Chicago for like 4 months. We were like homeless and everything. It's like
Mm-hmm.
2017. And me and my oldest daughter, we stayed back, you know, and you know, we were staying with my mom. And man, when I tell you that girl, like really, she was she was the hope, the thing that I can hold on to, you know.
Right.
So like me and her going through that together, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, we spent so much time together in those 4 months. You know, it was just me and her. And she was, you know, as much as discouraged as I was
Yeah.
every day, bro. Just seeing her face made me like, all right, cool. We gotta make it through.
Right.
You know, and it's times, you know, she would talk to me and she would say stuff like, Daddy, you know, uh parents aren't supposed to leave each other, you know, and
Oh,
you know, we're all families always supposed to stay together. It's just, and I'm just like, oh, she finna get me. And
tearing my
man, bro,
heart out.
listen, bro.
I ain't crying. I'm cooking onions. Lord have mercy.
Man, and bro, it was just like so many moments that me and her shared,
Yeah.
you know, that she's like really that child that's like really super me and her, like our relationship is crazy. And then I got my baby girl, she's like a whole different thing, bro. She's the diva of the family. Like she
Okay.
just, and she knows she's the baby, and
Uh-huh.
she tries to play that role. And me and her, that's the joke it up. Me and her, we gonna go like this all the
Oh,
time.
okay. Okay.
Oh boy, me and her gonna go at it
Yeah.
all the time. But that's my baby, man. It's like
Yeah.
she's my little baby, and she just,
Mm-hmm. Cause she too much like you. That's probably why y'all.
man,
Oh yeah, that's
bro,
probably why y'all. Yeah, definitely.
crazy, man. And she know how to work them heartstrings, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
she's a cuddler. She like that.
Oh man, yeah, yeah.
So she know how to work me in that way. And then it's like standing alone over here is my son in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, for me, like my son is that, it's like that's my dog right there. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, like give me
yeah,
some, my boy. You know,
yeah.
and he like really my rider. And it's funny, you know, how having children, you know, children all have these different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all of them have their own little ways. And I'm like, man, I'm really building a relationship with three different people,
Yeah,
you know, on top of, you know, my wife.
right.
So it's like I gotta manage four different
Mm-hmm.
personalities in my home.
And those
And
personalities are growing up, so they're bound to change. So you know what I'm saying?
uh,
You know
oh,
better than me.
so
Yeah,
yeah, bro, it's real, man. So I know you ain't had your daughter, you done been with her for a year now,
yeah.
but how has that been, you know, in the last year, you know, balancing, you know, your relationships, you know, like with your, with this newborn baby,
Mhm.
with your wife, and then with
Mhm.
your son? Like, how is it
Okay,
balancing all that?
so when I told my son had they had the little end of the year field trip. They
Mm-hmm.
usually go to somewhere out there in like High Springs or something like that. It's like this little water park they go to out there for the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I
But
think
it's somewhere out there like High Springs or something like that. But I
probably
went
like
there.
Blue
Blue something.
Springs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds, yeah, that's
They
it.
got the water thing out there.
Right. And so I go to with him and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna break the news to him now. And so,
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, so we sat down, we eating chips and stuff, and it's like was almost we had just got there. It's like, hey, I want to talk to you about something, man. Um, how do you feel about being a big brother? And I expected him because he's asked for a brother or asked for a
Mm-hmm.
sister. So I was like, I thought he was gonna be excited. He was not.
Yeah.
He was like, "What? So I'm not gonna be your son anymore?" It's like he didn't really understand. I was like, "Yes, you still gonna be my son, but there's gonna be another one. Like, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna have either a brother or a sister." And he was like, "You're gonna have a baby now?" And he was just like, he was not with it, man. And so over time he has grown to be more like more accepting. And he asked, it usually when we talk, he hears the baby crying. He's like, "Is that your baby?" I was like,
Yeah.
that's your little sister." You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And so he's coming around to it, man. He's a great kid. And so we text and FaceTime almost every day. Like, especially like before he goes to school, he's got to call me and tell me about the house, the mansion that he built on Minecraft. He's huge on
Yeah.
Minecraft, man.
Okay.
And so he took the news like really hard, man. I was like, "Oh, that's not what I expected." But it's life, man, and that's how that happened. But I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact, especially with the close contact that we keep, that he'll be very, very, very happy in years to come. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was it was definitely different. It was different than what I
Jeez.
expected. Yeah. He was like,
Yeah.
"What? You finna what?" It's like, so, well, what is that? What would that make me? I'm like, "That'll make you a big brother." He's like, "So you're gonna have a baby now?" I'm like, "All right, man." Let's go swim because you have me in, I am puzzled right now and I don't know how to respond to these questions. So but yeah, like I said, over time he's been coming around and he's good with it now. Like, he's definitely good with it now. But when at first he was it's like,
Yeah,
well,
boy.
yeah.
Yeah, man. That's one of those things, I think as they get older and they get used to it,
Mm,
especially with their age gap,
right.
they're gonna he'll get used to it. And I
Yeah.
think for him it'd be like, a good thing, like, oh, I got a little sister, and
Right.
he want to be the protector, and
Yeah.
like,
That's what I'm looking forward to that as well.
yeah.
So
So I think he once he comes around to it, he gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm
yeah.
turned up about this one.
Yeah, yeah,
You ain't gonna touch
exactly.
this
Exactly.
one.
And I my son and my daughter were both cursed to come out looking like me.
Yeah.
So so especially with them looking alike like that, I know he's gonna you know he's gonna take charge in that situation. So yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
definitely.
How long did you do in the military?
I did 4 years.
4 years.
Yes, did four
What
years.
have you taken from what you learned in the military and applied to fatherhood?
Okay, so a lot of it, a lot of it is like integrity,
Mm,
having integrity. I can't tell you to do something and turn around and be doing the same thing, even if in principle. Like,
yeah.
I gotta have that integrity. It's gotta be the same even when nobody's there watching me. You know what I'm saying? It has
Hmm.
to be that way because I don't want to be able to, I don't want to tell you, "Hey, don't smoke cigarettes," and then you come around the corner and I'm smoking a cigarette. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I had to take those type of things and apply that to my fatherhood. Of course, like, and here's another thing too. Um Routine. once you have what I learned, like once you have routine, it makes things run a lot easier. Like, you know what I mean? If we know we do this at this time and this is the way we do it, you know, it makes things run a lot easier. Now, the one downside to that is sometimes if the routine gets thrown off, it throws everything off. You know what I mean? So but being able to keep a schedule, you know, where a kid knows what he's doing, he knows where he's supposed to be at, and I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I can already have this ready by this time. And you know, that was one of the biggest thing. Another thing that I really took from that is, believe it or not, is being able to show my kids something other than what they see at home all the time. Well, even if we go to a short trip like Orlando or something like that, see something else, be around other, you know, other environments, and then be able to bring it back home. Because like, my first time really leaving Florida, other than Georgia, like leaving Florida, was going to the Army. And I was like culture shock, like, you know. And so it's like, well, I was going places, I was like, I've never been to such a big city, like you know, like Atlanta and all that other stuff. Like, I haven't been to cities like that. So and just like the influx of people and stuff, at first I wasn't ready. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know that the world was so big. You know what I mean? And so now it's like, I like to take my kids other places. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to take you here, or I want you to be able to see this. And then when you come back home, you can know that there are other things out there. And it's not just this little small town in this small county in this small state. Like, you know what I mean? So those are the main things I took from it. There were a lot of relationships that I built to this day that I have because of the military. You know, when my children get older, it is something that I am going to, because I'm third generation.
Yeah.
So it is something that I am going to suggest. Simple fact, because not only will you see the world, you will have a job. Even if you stay 4 years, you're 4 years older, 4 years wiser. You know, and just the benefits that you have when you come out of it. Like, because like right now, I am blessed to be in a position to where, because of my military service, now I'm taken care of, but financially, you know.
That's
So
real.
yeah, so and those are things that are blessings. So now I can pursue my music career, and I can I can have that time all day with my daughter, because of just those 4 years. Now, I that is something that I would, because it's like, when you're first in E1 to E4, right place, right time, right uniform, you're never wrong. You know what I mean? And so that, I just think that that'd be something really good for both of them, if either or. Now, if they don't, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that either, because there's so many other things. I want to teach my children that there's so many more things in this world than what people are trying to program you to think. Like, you know, it's good to go to college, but look at all these trade schools, because by the time you go to a trade school, you're going to make more money than you would be in debt in college. Now, I'm not, but what I'm saying is there are so many other things that you can do, and not to just, you don't have to follow what everybody else is telling you is the right way to do things.
That's real.
My son, like, his mother, my ex-wife, great mother, fantastic mother, but she's like, oh, you can't play video games for a living. And I start showing her like these e-leagues and how much they're making on e-leagues. And not only that, there's schools right here in Florida that do that. Like Full Sail, that teach you, like, like they teach you not only making games, but everything else. So down here right now, it's actually in Melbourne, there's a program for kids. It's like 5 to 12, and there's like 14 and 16 or something like that. But they teach kids coding through the game Minecraft, and my son loves Minecraft. You know, and these are things that are recession proof, because you're always going to be on the internet. There's always going to be computer and all this other stuff, and he's a part of that wave, and he's a part of it, yeah. And so same thing with my daughter. Once she starts liking or showing interest in something, I'm the same way. I just want to go all the way in with that because I want to set you up for success. My mom died when I was a senior at G. I was 17, and my dad died when I was 20. I lost both of my parents before 21, and the only thing I was left with is their memory, some knowledge, and a lot of debt. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to leave something that my children will be able to grow on, whether it be business skills, whether it be, whatever the case may be, setting them up for success and putting it into them. So because a lot of times we don't learn out of books, we learn from the people in the classroom next to us. You see what I'm saying? And so if I just want to be that classroom for them, like, you know what I mean? I want you to be able to learn, this is, if you want to make money, this is the things that we can do. These are things not to do. Good financial sense, like, you know what I mean? I'm still learning that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, being financially literate is one thing that has always hindered us as Black people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Right, because you got to look at things like this. We buy more Mercedes-Benz, gold chains, things that mean nothing than our other race counterparts. Because it's a symbol of success. It's a status symbol. It's not actually success. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So, and it's like the one way we were always taught is, you gotta look the part. But being the part is a bigger role, and we have to teach our children that. And that's one thing that I am really dedicated, and I am striving to do, is to teach them better than what everyone else says. You gotta have a Louis bag. For what? Like, you know what I mean? I get it, you like it, but for what? Like, why do you have to have it? You know what I mean? You remember getting clowned in school for having on hot bottoms or bobos or something like that? I know I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, man, just real quick. I was I think I was in sixth or seventh grade, and I still want a pair of Chuck Taylors. My parents bought me a red pair of Pro Kids, and I wore them to school one time, and I never did it again. You see what I'm saying? But now, I'm not saying I'm gonna buy my kid a Pro Kids, but now I want to be able to teach, the lesson behind that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can look good and stylish and everything else like that, but everything doesn't have to be name brand. You see what I'm saying? Because you're working, you're doing all that, and then you're spending all your money on symbols, like, instead of actually having the financial literacy and the knowledge and to be able to, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. Like, I definitely want to be able to teach my kids that. And that goes back to one of the things that you asked, because that's one of the things that they told us, like, in the military. It's like, smart buying and stuff like that. Don't rent furniture. If you can't buy it outright, don't get it. Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I want to be able to instill that into my children. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also, and to answer your question again, camaraderie. I wanted to teach them that it's always safe at home. A lot of people, and I'm not knocking anybody's parenting, because I'm not the best parent. Like, I'm not father of the year, like somebody else.
Chill out, man.
But some people, like for instance, their teenage daughter gets pregnant and they kick them out and stuff like that. I never understood that. Or like, I know at a certain time you got to leave home, but I want to be like how I am. Like, I want to be that parent where it's like, I lost my parents early. So if you need to come home, son, come home.
Yeah.
That relationship didn't work, daughter, come home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have nowhere to go right now, come home. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I want to have that togetherness and that, you know what I'm saying, just that real tight bond. And that's what I strive for, and that's what I'm working for every single day.
That's real, man. So much free game, y'all. That man throwing it for real. But man, that's something that my mom always taught me, man. Even to this day, man. When I tell you my mom looks out, bro, and it's always love. It's always open door, like literally open door policy with her at any time, bro. For me, my wife, my kids, whatever. It's always open door policy, and that's something that I'm I hold true to. Like I got like family, like, and what I've saw over the last few years, even as I've lost a lot of friends, people that were, important in my life, and I've seen how people would turn on you and
Oh yeah.
all of this stuff, and when it all comes back all the way around, the same people be right there. My mom, my brothers, my little cousin, my aunt, the same people that's always been there
Right.
be the same ones still right there looking me in my face, and they ain't never went nowhere.
Right.
And like I love that you say that, because that's something that I'm definitely teaching my children. We ain't never turning our back on each other,
Right.
because yeah, you gain friends, and sometimes some of your friends might be lifetime friends, but some friends only gonna be there for a season. There's gonna be people that you'll meet, mentors and all of that, who will be there for a season, but everybody might not be there for a lifetime. I probably got my boy Robert is probably my longest standing friendship right now, from the second grade, where it's like, really, that's my dog. Like if I call him right now, if he busy, he'll let me know. I'm gonna call you right back, bro. But
Yeah.
it's any time, and me and bro might not talk for 2 months, but when we do talk, we gonna talk, and he gonna check in, and let me know, he gonna check up on me and make sure I'm straight. And same with me, it's just that love, and that it ain't never changed.
Right.
And you don't meet too many people like that in life, outside of family. Of course, some family
Right.
members be the same way,
Right.
but I got my brother, my two brothers from my mom that I know always solid. Ain't no question about it. I ain't never got to question that. My mom, my little cousin that I grew up with, and his mom, his mom and dad, like that's my core right there. Them outside of them, everybody else, I wouldn't be surprised if they, switch up on me. Now I'd be surprised if any of that core circle switch up on me, but that's love. So yeah, that's definitely an important thing, and kids need that, especially y'all. I like how you talk about how how we kick our kids to the curb, and and just turn our back on them because they make mistakes and all that type of stuff, man. And sometimes we gotta be there, because the world will be quick to throw our kids away. Especially we got these black babies, man. They the world gonna throw them away without a thought.
Right.
Don't care what happened to them, man. So we gotta definitely be there for our kids.
I do want to say this though. My dad used to say something to me all the time, that failure is a prerequisite of success. So we're gonna make mistakes, we're gonna fail. You know what I mean? So, but we have to go through that to be able to find out what success is. You know what I'm saying? If you do it, if you know what I'm saying, if everybody did it right all the time, life would be easy for everybody. You know what I mean? But just teaching them through those mistakes, because sometimes you make a mistake off of your kid's mistake, like a reaction. Sometimes, like how you talked about the open door policy, sometimes a reaction will make you not go through that door. Like, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, doing things the right way, or if you do make mistakes, being able to have the corrective action to come back and say, okay, this is the way that I would like to start doing this. And, and everything like that. You talk about strong family union. Like I said, my brother and I, as well as my sister, even though we stay in 3 different places, my sister lives all the way in Nebraska, but we talk every day. You talked about one of your longest friends. My best friend, like in the world, like longest friend, is my boy Deshaun Curry. D Curry. Like we've been friends for 28 years, man.
Dang.
And that's my longest standing friendship since we were 6. Like that's been my boy. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
So
real.
yeah. So you know what I mean? And so there's things that he does in his parenting that I understand but don't necessarily agree with. There are things that I do in my parenting that he understands but doesn't necessarily agree with. But and we could talk about those things, and you know what I'm saying, and come to like, okay, I see why you're thinking that, and I can see why you move that way. But for me and mine, we gonna move this way because of this. Like his big one was like cell phones for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son, you got to have a cell phone. My son got to have a cell phone.
Yeah.
Got to, because with all of this that's happening to our babies in these schools and stuff like that, I need to know where you are,
It's
and
real.
I need you to call me. I need you
It's
to call
real.
me if something's wrong. I need you to call me if something is good. I need to know where you are. You see what I'm saying? But that's just me. But for him, it's more of a you're 11. You don't need a cell phone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I understand that, and I can, you know what I'm saying? But and I don't never knock him for that. It's actually pretty good for me, because sometimes he may say some things that that make me think, oh, well, maybe I should start implementing that, or you know, see how I feel about that, or I like how you handled that situation, or
Yeah.
equal and opposite. I don't like that, so I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Real talk.
But also, since I see it, I have to teach my child about it. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like yeah, man, and that's one of the best things. And my brother has the same, it's weird, my brother has the same age gap with his kids that I do.
Yeah.
11 years. And so my niece Riley, um the things that I was doing with my son, he's actually implementing with his daughter now. Like, you know what I mean? And so, and I'm the younger brother, so it humbles me to see that, you know what I mean? But also things that he's doing with his daughter, I know I want to do. Like I mentioned organized sports and things like that, because she's already doing tumbling and soccer and all this other stuff, and she's like 3 or 4 or something like that. So it's like, I'm like, you know, I'm seeing that, and I'm like, okay, that's how I could be a better dad. That's how I can, you know, and I try not to make it about me. And that's sometimes is the hardest thing, is you know, not making it about me. Like, you know what I mean? I just want the best for them, and I want to move in the right way. I really pride myself on parenthood. I really do. That's why I love this podcast. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why I check you out. And then plus I see people that I know as well, and I'm like, I didn't even know you went through all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Man, bro.
yeah. And it's like it's crazy what a smile can hide. You know what I mean? So to hear those things, it gives me motivation. And not only that, I know, like, you know, like you say, changing the narrative. Us Black fathers we here. Like,
really out here.
Yeah, we definitely here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, sometimes I think about what are the reasons that we're not here. And, you know, you can think about things like because, you know, our incarceration rate is way higher than anyone else's.
Yeah, all right.
You understand what I'm saying? And the same district attorney for the same charge on the same number of offense for your white counterpart will his sentence is going to be lower than yours. Hate to say it that way, but that's the way the world works. And
Straight
so
up.
from that, we're taking the father out of the equation. When my daughter was born, this was weird as hell. So my daughter was born. I'm the father. I'm there. I'm the husband.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have rights to anything. They have to ask her, is it okay that I know? Or if they can share certain things with me, or, like, you know what I mean? You know, they asked me to leave the room, and said it blew my mind. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, we're removing the father from out of the, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I took that as. I may have been going, okay, so my daughter's been born, so I may have been a little bit more, you know what I mean, than I was supposed to, but that's how I'm seeing it. I may have overreacted a little bit, but I'm like, I don't have rights to anything. You know what I'm saying? And, you know,
crazy.
Right. And so with that just let me know, okay, so that means that I have to be prominent here in my daughter's life. I have to be right here, because if not, it could be taken away from me, just like that. You know what I'm saying?
Quick.
Yeah, just like that. And that scares the hell out of me. But it also keeps me honest. It keeps me focused, and, like, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's real.
Yeah. So she afterwards she's taking these therapy courses that they offer at the hospital and stuff like that. Afterward, like with like postpartum and everything, she didn't have postpartum depression or anything, but they're just, you know, these, and there's this therapist, and, you know, when she's doing them, I can't be in the room. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and for me, I was like, wow, bro, like, I'm not, and there's no father groups, like father groups. Yeah, man. I go on Facebook to find them. Like, you know what I mean?
So crazy, bro.
Right.
Man, we talked about this some years ago. Me and my former pastor and some of my boys, we used to always talk about trying to start something in the hospitals for dads because,
Yeah.
there are a lot of things that mothers can do and take courses and stuff. But like for dads, like there's like no dad boot camp, in the
Yo.
hospital. And
Yeah.
bro, I was in the dark when it came to
Right.
fatherhood, and I'm just like, man, bro, I ain't never even put it, I barely know how to
Held a
put it
baby
back
like
on.
that. Yeah.
Hell, hold no
Uh,
baby. So I could have benefited from a lot of these things.
yeah. My classes were don't shake the baby, don't hit the baby. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
like those were the classes. Like, all right, go out there and be somebody. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah,
like, like,
seriously,
yeah. And so,
man.
you know what I mean? Yeah, that's real though. And that would be something very, very good for all fathers, all races. Like, you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Just having
straight up.
those classes. Yeah. Because like they tell you, hey, babies cry or whatever the case may be, but sometimes you don't realize how that can affect you. Because
Mm,
man, my daughter cries and I can't. Well, when my daughter's crying and I couldn't control, I couldn't stop her from crying and stuff like that.
bro,
I started crying. Like, you know what
panicking,
I'm saying?
bro.
Yes, bro. I'm crying, bro, because I'm like, I think something's wrong with her. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, dog.
It's funny
I
you
am
say
crying.
that. I was a guest on a podcast a few weeks ago, and I was telling the woman that same a story about when my daughter was born. Me and my wife, we used to flip flop nights. One night I stay up with the baby, one night she stay up. So it's my night.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm up like 2 a.m. I'm just like, I'm chilling. I'm watching TV, playing my game.
Mm-hmm.
Every 3 hours feeding the baby.
Yep.
And at one point, bro, she just starts crying, bro. And I'm like, get up. I feed her, I burp her, I walk, get up, stand up with her, pat her back, I walk
Yeah.
around, and it's like, ain't nothing working. I'm like, dog, bro, she might be dying or something, bro. It might be sick. I'm thinking crazy. I'm like, well, I'm gonna take her
Yeah.
back to the hospital, bro.
Yes, bro.
So
Yes,
I
bro.
I
Yes.
I, I I called my mom and I was like, hey mom, I think I'm finna take the baby to the hospital. She was like, for what? I was like, I don't know. I think it's something wrong with her because she done been crying for a long time. My mama was like, boy, that baby probably got gas.
Yeah.
And I was like, how you know that? When she was like, you should go to the store and get some Gas X for her.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
Them little
all right,
drops.
them
Yeah.
drops. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. So I pack her up in the little thing in a seat, put her in the car, bro. No lie. Before we get out the neighborhood, she sleep, bro. Like
Yeah. I know.
like knocked out. But I still go to the store. I get the
Yeah.
gas stuff, come back home, bro. She knocked out for the rest of the night, and it a light bulb came in my up, just came up in my mind. I'm like, car motion.
Yeah.
Whenever she start acting like this, put her in the car.
Yeah.
It soothes her. And bro, that was like one of my things, bro. I
Yep.
go drive for like 2 minutes, bro. Come back home, she knocked up. And I'm just like finding that type of stuff out. If I would have knew some of that,
Right.
some of the tricks of the trade,
Mhm.
like, so now when I'm talking with younger dads, I'm telling them these types of things, like sometimes, bro, lay her on her stomach and just rub the bottom of her back,
Yep.
little stuff like that.
Yep.
And I'm like, bro, if I would have knew this stuff when I first, I had to learn by trial and error.
Right.
And panicking, thinking my baby dying or something, causing anxiety inside of me.
Right. Right.
Like real talk. So yeah, bro, that stuff is those types of things that they don't prepare dads for when it comes
Yeah,
to fatherhood. And
exactly,
I
bro.
think we can all benefit from that.
Yeah, exactly, man. I would definitely be behind that because like you said, man, like man, I didn't realize how much I've forgotten. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, did my son cry this much?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and also like learning what different cries mean.
Man, I was just gonna say that.
Like, you know what I mean? That's that once I
That
start
changed the
getting
game.
what?
That changed the
Okay,
game.
you talk oh yeah, you're
Yep.
hungry. Let me you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, man. And you know what I'm saying? It's just and seeing them grow up and stuff like that, man. I'm just bro, I didn't know. Like, I'm be honest with you, it took until about now. She's about 2 months. Well, she just turned 2 months old. So it took until like right now, because I would call my wife and be like, hey, could you clean inside of there? Because I didn't want to hurt nothing. I didn't want to damage nothing, or like, you know what I'm saying? I've never done that before. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was frightened. And it's like, especially when she go number 2, it's like all packed up in there and stuff. Like, baby,
Man,
you got to get this, because you got one and I don't, and I need you to figure this out for me. And so
that's
it took
real.
me sitting there watching a couple times before I was even comfortable doing it. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Right. You know what I'm saying?
got to
And
learn
so,
that thing, bro.
right. And so, you know what I'm saying? I'm under the thought process that, I'd rather watch you do it. You know what I mean? Try it once or twice while you standing there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I know I'm doing it right, because I don't know, I just don't know. Like with my son, I know what to do.
All right.
Yeah,
For
I know
real.
what to do. Yeah.
For real, for real. See,
Yeah, I know what to
my
do.
wife always told me wipe from front to back.
Yep, that's it.
And
Yeah.
it was, and I was like, dang, if you ain't tell me that, I would have never
I
knew.
would have never known. Yeah.
Never known it, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just those little small things, like
Mm-hmm.
I call them just the little small nuggets,
Right.
that fatherhood and parenthood, that you gotta know these types of things, and some of it only comes by experience,
Yep.
but it would be also easier if we learn from the experiences of others,
Right.
if they offered this type of stuff, man. And yeah, bro, like, man, this stuff is just like, once I got to my third child, man, what? Man, listen, ain't
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that girl. She just crying.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Hey,
I ain't
yeah.
worried about her. She
Yeah.
good. She just wants some attention. That's it.
Yeah. Don't look at them when they fall.
Yeah.
Don't look. Look away, look away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the type of
For
stuff you
real.
learn, man. Because that is like, because I remember like my first child. Well, this is my wife's first child.
Yeah.
So she kind of got the new mother, like everything's got to be bleached. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it has to be spotless in the house. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not against that, and I want her to have
Yeah.
that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
And I'm with that as well. But I know, like after, like when my son, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, if you don't pick that thing, there you go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, but yeah, man, definitely, man, it's a blessing. She wants more. I've been blessed. So I mean, if this is it, which I don't think it is gonna be, but if
Yeah.
this is it, then I'm good with where I'm at. But yeah, man, definitely stay tuned, because I might be on here again.
Hey, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, definitely,
Real
man.
talk.
Definitely.
I got one more question for you, man. If you could sit down with the 18-year-old version of Geronimo, knowing everything you know right now,
Right.
and if you could give that young man one piece of advice, what would you tell him?
It'll be more than one piece, but it'll be, keep playing football.
Yeah.
You should have never stopped.
All right.
And also, follow the music right now. Follow the music right now, because you got it.
That's real.
Yeah, I listened to because I pulled up all that old stuff, because when you ask for it, like, you know what I'm saying, and I'm listening to all our old stuff, and like we had it, like, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't have the guidance, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if I would have just followed the music instead of just like, trying to get by through life, I think I would have been in a different position than I am right now. Not saying that I'm not blessed, but I do believe that it would have went a lot different.
Straight up. That's
Follow
real.
follow the music. Like, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Yeah.
Love that, bro. I love that, man. But hey, listen, man, I ain't gonna hold too much more of your time, man. We get in here, these babies finish. I be trying to have these jokers in the bed by 8, bro.
I know that's right.
I tell my babies, listen, after 8, I ain't daddy no more.
Yeah.
It's time for me to be husband.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, man.
Real
hey,
talk.
you better than me, because I know I'm old. About 9:30, 10, I be.
Yeah, man, listen, that's gonna be me. About 10 o'clock, I'm gonna go ahead and doze on off, But yeah, man, man, listen, I enjoyed this right here, bro. And just having this dad talk, like this type. I always say this is my therapy, bro. Like I actually just started real therapy like last week for the first time in my life, and it's all right, But this right here, is my real therapy, dog. Like it ain't nothing like this right here, talking with my brothers, you know, and really just getting things out, you know, talking about things and reminiscing and learning new things, bro. Like this is everything. And I learned so much just in this one conversation right here with you, man. And I'm gonna take a lot of it and put it into my own life, bro. For real, for real.
Yeah, that's what it's there for. Yeah, man. Been doing therapy for about 4 years. It works, man. It works if you work it. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me on, man. I've been excited for this, man. I've been waiting for this moment, man. So, you know, I really appreciate it, man. I'm if you want to check me out, man, I'm DigstownStudios.com, double GZ Studios with a Z. I'm my producer A1A, man. He cooks up fire. Like the I sent you a sneak peek of the single that's dropping. Everything's dropping.
Fire.
November 18th. And as you can hear, my producer is on point. I'm still on point. So it's like, we're gonna be moving in the right direction, man. So yeah, the single Revolution dropping November 18th, man. So stay tuned for it. It's gonna be Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, anywhere you can find music, on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm everywhere, man. So yeah, man, we really appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, y'all, one of my favorite lines from my dog, my boy say, she smell like honeysuckle, belt buckle, say she trouble between her legs and teddy bear. So fresh, so clean, I call her Snuggles. Hey, that was that heat, bro.
Yeah, I was. So we was talking about a little bit what we was talking about earlier, man. I just dropped the song today. When I first came over here, I said they seem to be offended by the strength of our committal. Baby, life can't be predicted. That's why if is in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Find that most of friends be friended, go from friend to unfamiliar. And so like we was talking about that earlier, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times people fall out with you and everything else like that. Life can't be predicted. That's why if is in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, definitely.
Man, y'all listen. Man, y'all stay tuned, man. That's Fiyaman Jaronimo, man. Hey, that boy came on. I think you had did something on that Fiyaman, on that Wayne Fireman back in the day. I was
I did, yeah.
Hey, y'all listen, man. Y'all stay tuned to my boy, man. Go find him on where all the places he said. Find him at. Y'all go find my boy. Please do that.
Look for me, Fiyaman Jaronimo. I'm there, baby. FMJ for short.
Yes, sir, man. But hey, my boy. Man, I love you, bro. You know, keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you, bro. And man, it was definitely good talking with you, my boy.
Absolutely, man. Love, bro.
Yes, sir. Holla at y'all. Dad, Can We Talk? Episode 95. We out of there.
You fought me